Welcome, creators. Sit yourselves down by the crackling hearth fire and listen, for a world of opportunity awaits you. Welcome to episode 5 of the Professional Dungeon Master's Guide, where we unlock the secrets to earning money online as a professional dungeon master. And in this episode, I will show you exactly how to make a stellar first impression on your new players, discover exactly what kind of game they are expecting to play, and stick around till the end where I share with you my Discord server template designed to encourage player engagement, roleplay, and that will make your paid experience that much more excellent compared to other DMs. If you're enjoying this series so far, please like the video, crit the subscribe button and notification bell, and get ready to level up your online DM game like never before. Let's get rolling. Wow. So, you've been following this guide step by step. You have an alluring GM profile, you've honed and crafted your advertisements to attract the kind of players you want to run games for, and you've been advertising every single day and changing what doesn't work until now. Finally, you have enough players to start your very first game. But now what? Well, now you must impress your players. Here's how. First and foremost, you need to make a good impression, all right? So a bad one can mean many things. It can mean a lack of trust, a lack of player engagement over time, and you will just have to work that much harder if you've made a bad impression to raise up your players' perception of you as a DM. And beyond this, a really, really bad impression can lose you players before you even start your first session. It's sad, I know, so make a good one. The very first thing you can do is utilize those prep notes I talked about in the previous video about advertising. Remember, when a player signs up for your game, they will get sent these prep notes, whatever you put in there. So you can use it for a bunch of stuff, right? You can use it for a bunch of stuff it's not designed for, to make your players feel kind of welcome and included and, get them ready and excited instead of kind of leave them languishing, confused, without contact from their DM they want to pay to run a really good game of Dungeons and Dragons, right? So you can send and put all of the links in there. So your Discord server link, I'll get onto that in a moment. Your game link, whether it's on Roll20 or Foundry, right? A nice little welcome message that, hey, how's it going? I'm so happy to have you aboard. I'm really excited to learn more about you and your character and discover how we're going to tie them into the game. Something like that to make them feel welcome. I would also add that you have an open door policy, so that any questions, we'll discuss exactly what an open door policy entails in a moment in the video, but just let them know that you are open to contact anytime if they have any questions or any doubts or any worries or fears, and that you will reply to them promptly, all right? So what this does is this helps them feel like your attention is on them, your attention is for them, they feel important, they feel respected, and, you want them feeling that they made the right choice even before they meet you, even before session 0, before character creation, before any of that. You want them feeling good about you as their DM, that they're paying money for. Beyond all this, beyond the prep notes, you want to be friendly, right? I'm kind of wondering whether I need to say this, but it just kind of bears keeping that intention in mind. Be friendly, be open, be excited about their characters. They are excited about their characters. What's going to make them feel great? And if you've ever played D&D, isn't it such a great feeling when your DM is also excited about your characters? They're paying you. This is the bare minimum. Get excited about their characters and get them feeling that you are excited also. And also, any questions that they have, make sure to answer them promptly. Don't leave them waiting. Again, we want to make them feel important and respected and feeling good about you as a GM. And if you leave them waiting on a reply to a question or anything like that, they're not going to feel like that. And they're going to have trouble building that trust. Now, I'm going to speak about a few more things that will help you really nail that first impression. The first one is pretty much your next step once they've signed up is individual character creation. Spend time with each player individually, even before session 0, before anything happens, really. You want to jump into them in a voice call or a video call, whichever they're comfortable with, right? And jump into the platform you're going to be using and really workshop their character, okay? Help them get to grips with whatever platform you're using, whether it's Roll20, Foundry, or whatever else you're using. There's a bunch of them out there. Maybe they haven't used them before. You want to help them understand it even before session 0. They don't want to jump in there feeling like, oh god, I don't even know how to move my token, right? Where is my character sheet? You want to explain the basics so that they can jump into session 0 and be excited about role-playing and meeting the other characters and getting to know you better. You don't want them, again, like discussed in previous videos, we don't want them confused, not at all. And be patient, okay, with them, and yeah, just keep that friendliness, keep that openness as your intention as you're dealing with them. You know, it's going to feel horrible if they jump in to create a character and they don't know how to use something and you're giving off this aura of like, oh my god, why don't you understand? I just want to get this over with. That's not the atmosphere or environment we're trying to cultivate throughout any of our game sessions or interactions with our paying players or paying customers, right? And it bears repeating, get excited about their character. They are, you should be too. And it just makes, it kind of builds that connection with them, it builds that trust, but also it just makes it more enjoyable for you, right? If you're excited about this character, they've got a cool backstory or just a cool character idea, or you know, any ideas they have for their character, just get excited for them and it'll be more enjoyable for the two of you. And it will fuel that creative fire when you're running the game and make their character feel important. But beyond all of that character stuff, just take some time to get to know them, right? Ask them their experience on the system you're running, whether it's 5e or Pathfinder, whatever. Which kind of game elements that they prefer, which ones do they not care about that much? What's their favorite fantasy or sci-fi kind of content, right? So the more you get to know them, this kind of helps you better tailor this whole experience to their preferences. And again, building that trust and making them feel important. All right, you do care and you should care about your players, and this will help kind of build that rapport, but also aid you in what you're being paid to do. And finally, ask them at the end of the session, you know, when all that stuff is done, when you've kind of, you know, just hung out, really workshopped their character and got to know them a little bit, ask them why they chose you to be their DM out of that vast sea of advertisements. And trust me, there is a vast sea of them out there. Why did they choose you? Okay, this helps you improve your future game advertisements, and it's kind of priceless feedback. They're going to have a reason they chose you over someone else. Learn what it is. These are your strengths. These are what you've done right in advertising. You want to carry that and build on that moving forward for your other games, which of course there will be many. Once you've hopped into kind of character creation with your individual players, then you move on to session 0, and here is how to run a wonderful one. So most professional DMs, most pro DMs offer a free session 0. Again, it's just another kind of value skew in your advertisement, but it's not really that much of a skew, positive value skew anymore, because like I said, most DMs do it now. It's kind of standard to do it. And to not advertise that, you're kind of giving yourself a little bit of a disadvantage here. So you want to get on that level playing field and offer that session 0 as free. Now, this might seem kind of painful, perhaps, you know, it is your time, but it doesn't have to be full length, all right? And it's more just a kind of a casual hangout where you explain stuff like your home rules, you know, if you've got any particular home rules, or we all do, right? We all have our preferences with regards to kind of flanking or taking potions, all of that sort of stuff. So make sure that they know all of these and that they're okay with all of them. And again, be open to any feedback. If one of them really doesn't like one home rule and they're all in agreement that they want to either ditch it, or maybe someone wants to add a specific one, and everyone's in agreement, be flexible and do that. Again, it's not your game, it's theirs. Your codes of conduct. So if, you know, in particular, if there's anything that will result in an immediate ban with no refund, make that clear now. Okay, if there's something that you were just have absolutely zero tolerance for, make that clear from the get-go. You do not want that to be a gray area. So include that, include your codes of contact, you know, be nice to each other, no bullying, no harassment, all of that sort of stuff. Put that in there, kind of discuss and go through things with it and answer any questions they may have about this. All right, your safety tools, okay? We've discussed this in the previous video. You've decided by now which ones you're going to use, and why and how. So discuss this with them, exactly how they'll work. I would absolutely recommend at least using the Monte Cook RPG consent checklist, all right? You kind of send one out, you post it in your Discord server. Every one of them, they should, and kind of make sure that they do this at least by the end of session 0, but preferably before, that they fill out these checklists. You receive them all back, you make note of everyone's red lights and orange lights, and you fill them all in on a master consent form. And then at the end, towards the end of session 0, or if you're still waiting on someone before session 1, crucial that you do, send that master consent list out to everyone, so everyone knows what's on the table and what's off the table, and you can just avoid really uncomfortable moments. It's happened to me because I didn't do this. Just get on top of it, and it's very important. Trust me, you'll be kicking yourself if you don't. Explain your payments also. Yes, just if you're using, when you should be using Start Playing, explain exactly how the payment system works. Explain the fees that you get too, and explain when they go through and what happens if they don't go through. If players can't show up, how do refunds work? Explain everything to them, just so that there's no nasty surprises for them in the future. And also that if they mess up a payment or something, you've already explained how it works. So the onus is on them. So the burden is on them to fix it, essentially, if it's their fault, right? You've already explained it. Explain your Discord server, and again, you should have one. I use one, I think they're great, and I'll explain why further on in this video. I'll go into depths about that. Explain how your Discord server works, what each of the channels are for. Just tell them exactly how and what's possible in this Discord server, how it's going to be used, how you're going to use it to hone this game to their preferences, okay? Explain everything to them. Also, this is something I really enjoy doing, and it might take a little bit of time in your session 0, but again, you can super finely dial in what kind of game the players are looking for, right? You'll know exactly what to spend your time and your efforts prepping, and what to avoid, really. So I ask each player to rate on a scale from 1 to 10 how they feel about the pillars of the game, right? So combat, roleplay, and exploration, right? And I throw puzzles in there too, because it's kind of a separate thing. You kind of find out if there's one player who's super into combat, but maybe the rest aren't. You will know not to spend too much time on it, but you'll know to throw a really good one in there sometimes, okay? You just want to find out exactly, every player group is different, right? So you need to find out what game they want to play and tailor your game towards that. This is a great way to do it, and I thoroughly recommend doing that in session 0 before you get started. Also, you could also run just at the very end, once you've done all of the kind of housekeeping and all the nitty-gritty bits. I would suggest running a short combat or encounter or puzzle, just something to kind of break the ice for these people before session 1, right? That they can jump into session 1 feeling that, we've already at least been introduced to each other. So I find that this often makes session 1 a lot smoother, instead of jumping right into the module or adventure campaign, one shot, whatever, and everyone has to spend the first 30 minutes kind of explaining their character and what they look like and stuff. You can do this at the end of your session 0 to have that ice pre-broken, and you can really start that session 1 strong. And finally, towards the very end of your session 0, this is a great time to ask if anyone has any more burning questions, right? Ask here, and then make them aware of your open door policy. Your open door policy is important for so many things, right? It's important for tailoring your game to the paying customer's needs. I keep saying it, I keep repeating it. It's so important that you do this. This is the difference between a free game with friends or the game store and paying someone to do it. When you pay to play this wonderful hobby, you are entitled to a game you enjoy playing. Simple as that. So you can use this open door policy to get your finger on the pulse of that and do it, right? That's what they're paying you for. You can also use this open door policy to discover your strengths and weaknesses as a DM, right? You can use that safety tool, Stars and Wishes, where people can, if you're paying attention in the last video, you know what it does, but you can have a separate little channel in your Discord server labeled Stars and Wishes. People can rock up in there after a session or after a few sessions. They can give you stars, which is, kind of commendations, telling you exactly what they liked about your campaign, or they can post some wishes, right? Things they wish to see either more of or less of. And if you have this kind of feedback every week or every few sessions, you can just adjust your trajectory to exactly the game they all want to pay for. And you know what you did well, you know what you didn't do so well, so you can use this to constantly improve yourself as a DM. And the better you get, the more money you can charge, and the better experience your players will get. And all of this is just crucial for retaining players, right? Making sure that they play throughout the whole module, that's the easy part. But getting them to return, right? If you're running another module or a parallel module, the module after, whichever, you're running a one-shot, you want your previous players to come back to you. And if you give them a good experience, then they will, and it'll make advertising 20 million times easier than it is starting from scratch with no one filling those seats. Okay? And also, of course, if you provide a great experience, you will get great reviews also. Open door policies are also great for dealing with problems between players or between you and a player. Hopefully you don't have that, but it happens, right? Dealing with that before they become catastrophes in game, potentially game ending, players leaving, you booting players. Like you kind of want to avoid all of that stuff, right? It leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. If something like that kind of explodes, right? So having this open door policy where people can contact you at any time with anything they wish to talk about, you can deal with things you can deal with embers before they turn into roaring fires, right? So there's just a bunch of these benefits. And it also encourages players to kind of interact and get excited about their character. Very important also. You want to exceed customer expectations, right? You want to raise them pretty high during those first couple of interactions, session 0, character creation, not too high, not overblown, something you can't achieve, but you want to raise them pretty high, give them a good first impression, and then exceed those through that kind of constant open communication, right? Where they can see you applying and dialing in that their needs and expectations into their experience. You want them to be able to feel and see that happen. And you can use having an open door policy. Yes, it might take some time, but it really helps you provide this exquisite experience. So exceed those expectations. Now, the Discord server. When the players have a place to hang out, right? Post memes, share their character kind of related stuff, write about what happened, write recaps of what happened from their kind of POVs, their points of perspective, reliving awesome moments in game, and kind of planning their next move. If they have a place to do that, you kind of start to build a little community. All right, you start to build, this begins to transform this kind of random group of internet strangers that you've plunked down into this little place for them. It kind of begins to transform your players into a group of friends that are playing together online. Now, this is the experience that will get you return customers. This is the experience that will get you shining reviews. And it builds massive, massive trust in you. You become a better DM as this kind of helps. You're kind of, we're reading all these posts, you're getting involved in the memes, and you're seeing what players took away from in their recaps. It helps you be invested in this game. It kind of keeps you excited and kind of avoids that burnout, which it will translate into better sessions. I promise you this. If you are kept excited by this, your sessions will be better, all right? It's just the facts. There's nothing worse, nothing more painful, even though you might even be getting paid very good money to run your favorite hobby, but there's nothing worse than running games, 4 hours of online play with mildly interested and disconnected players. It sucks, and you want to avoid this. So, to help you avoid this, I am now going to share with you, we'll go through it section by section, won't take very long, my Discord server, right? My Discord server template. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like, and you can check out the description down below where I've linked the server template download. So you can just download exactly the one I'm going to show you and start using it right away. Alrighty, here we are. This is the Discord server template that I use. I've designed this, and yeah, we're just going to go through it bit by bit here, and I'll describe exactly what I use all of these kind of channels for. And of course, you send your players directly here when they join the game. So this is the general tab. I mean, yeah, it is the general tab. It's kind of for everything, right? Usually players use this to post memes or chat about stuff, or kind of plan their next move, right? So yeah, this is, just general chat is generally for anything goes. Recap, right? So, and when you kind of create this, you can change these to say whatever you want, essentially, but give a little description. You can edit the channel, you can write a little description in there, and you should just let them know exactly what this is for. The recap. So usually what I do is if someone writes a recap with like a POV of their character's experience in the session, I give them a GM inspiration because it is a great thing for people to kind of read and kind of reread and kind of get excited and kind of get an insight into other players' mind, right? It gets other players thinking about other players, right? That's only a good thing. And also you can see exactly what the most important things they took away from a session, right? It's very useful. RP, right? If they just want to literally speak as their characters outside of session, whenever the game isn't going on, they can just hop in here and role play it out, all right? The game can continue outside of the session. It can continue in here. It's almost like play by post now at this point. And you can get involved, or maybe you don't need to, but they can role play in here. Yeah, this is just a great place for them to explore their characters a little bit more. Character spotlight, right? This, if they've got any cool artwork or cool character ideas, there's some stuff that they wish to kind of share with other players about their character. Some people even post their character sheets in here. Some players just get so involved in their characters, and this is kind of an outlet for them to kind of share it. You can get excited about their character, and it's fostering this community where players are getting excited about other players' stuff, right? This all translates into a better game. So moving down to stars and wishes, right? This is like what we were talking about before. Stars and wishes. They can type in there what they loved about your session, which are the stars, and then what they wish to see more or less of, which is our wishes, right? So definitely I recommend having that in there, a place for them to come after a session, after a few sessions, whenever they're comfortable, to jump in there and tell you exactly what they want and exactly what they need out of your campaign. GM announcements. So yeah, I just use this for, it does what it says in the tin, right? If you have any announcements, post your most important links in here. They're not in here now because this is just a blank server. I post my house rules, any updates, just in case you need to postpone a session, or if you're going to be late, or you need to finish early, or you need to postpone it completely. Sometimes it happens, sometimes life gets in the way, or you're booking a holiday or something like that. If you put it in here, you keep players kind of up to date on the important stuff, the nuts and bolts of how this kind of service you're running runs. As well, I put info about kind of payments in here, and I'd post the links I'd post kind of a blank consent form. I'd even put your master consent form that we were talking about earlier in here, so that everyone has access to it at all times, even if they lose it on their computer or their phone or whatever. And again, just going to touch briefly on these voice channels secrets. Throughout this session, maybe you just want to speak with one player briefly so that no one else knows. Maybe they're having a vision, maybe they're talking to their deity, whatever. I throw them in there. You can just quickly kind of pick them up, grab them, and then put yourself in there, and then you're having a one-on-one, right? And the hangout one is also, strangely enough, other players get excited when, even if they're not the one receiving the secret, they get excited that someone else is receiving a secret. It just kind of makes it a little bit more dramatic and exciting. The hangout one, this is, for when the game is not running. People can just come here and hang out. As a general purpose, like the general text chat, it's just the general purpose voice channel. And encourage its use. Encourage people to jump in there and spend time with each other. You're using this whole thing to foster a community. That is really what is worth the money that they're paying you for. And remember, please check out the description down below. I will be linking this exact server template so you can download it immediately and begin using it right away if you've got a game coming up. This is it. You have followed every video step by step. I've given you everything you need to get started, and some of you could already be making that first bit of income as a pro DM. You've learned enough to get started, for sure. But your journey as a pro DM has just begun, and to reach those upper echelons of income, you must begin to hone your craft and become a truly outstanding DM. So, the next part of the Professional Dungeon Master's Guide series is this channel, this whole channel. There you go, there it is. Every video I post will help you shore up those weaknesses, enhance your strengths, and help you become a DM truly worth their weight in gold coins. So stay tuned and apply everything that you learn here. You've heard a lot from me, now I want to hear from you. Please hit up the comments down below. Have you started making money yet? If so, how did your first session go? Is there any stone that I've left unturned that you want me to answer for you in future videos? Then please get writing down in the comments so we can foster this community of professional DMs who are really here to help each other and help each other succeed. If you've made it this far in the video, then you are the DM that I am making this series for. You are the person I can help the most, someone who is dedicated to this craft and making this dream a reality for themselves. So thank you for watching all the way to the end. Please like, share this video with someone else you know who is looking to get into this profession. Please crit the subscribe button and notification bell. And remember, this world needs good DMs.